What's up guys, welcome back. Winter's coming around the corner, and when I think about cold weather food, one of the first things that come to mind is a nice bowl of gumbo. So today I'm gonna show you how to make this delicious chicken and sausage gumbo recipe. The key to a good gumbo is a nice dark roux, the Cajun trinity, and this fantastic andouille sausage. We're gonna plate this up over some white rice, making the perfect comfort food meal. But before we get into the recipe, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right guys, meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen. First things first, let's take a look at these ingredients. We already talked about the Cajun trinity. That's comprised of onion, bell pepper, and celery. Feel free to use whatever color bell pepper you want. The next ingredient is a bit controversial. Here we have some frozen okra. Let me know in the comments if you like okra in your gumbo or not. About a cup of frozen okra here. Next, we have the andouille sausage. For the pork patrol out there, feel free to use the turkey or the chicken variety. Speaking of chicken, we got a rotisserie chicken. We're gonna break this down, chop it up, keep it nice and simple today. For the fresh herbs, we got thyme and bay leaves. Then for the roux, we have our 1 cup of high smoke point cooking oil, something like a vegetable oil or avocado oil, and 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and then some stewed tomatoes. All right, next up, we're gonna prep 1.5 pounds of andouille sausage. Andouille sausage is super common in Cajun and Creole cuisine. You can find it in, obviously, gumbo, but it's popular in plenty of other recipes as well. This is the way I like to prep mine. I like to cut them into bite-sized pieces. 2 reasons. 1, it fits better on the fork. And 2, you get a little bit more surface area contact with the skillet, get some of that good crust and caramelization that we all love. So that's what I like to do with mine. So cut them into nice bite-sized pieces, something that fits on the spoon. We're gonna repeat that process with all of our andouille sausage. Again, guys, they make great turkey and chicken and beef versions of andouille sausage. So if you're not eating pork, plenty of great substitutions out there for you. And you cut them into whatever size pieces you like. All right, guys, so for my first pro tip, we're not making smoothies. I like to blend or pulse my veggies. Not quite puree them, but you want to cut them down into real fine pieces. That way they just basically blend right into the gumbo. This is optional, guys, but it's something that I like to do when I'm making mine. I don't want huge chunks of veggies in my gumbo, but if you do, then you can skip this step. However, we're gonna go ahead and pulse this a couple times, and it's gonna go right into the roux a little bit later, and you won't even know it's there other than the flavor. And now, my friends, it's time for the fun part. We're gonna make our roux. We're going in with 1 cup of avocado oil. I like to do this before the oil gets hot, especially if you're new to making roux. You wanna do this at room temperature. If you're a bit more experienced with roux, you can add the flour when the oil is hot. But if you're a little nervous, then follow my steps here. So we're gonna add the flour to the oil at room temperature, break out the whisk, and mix it until it's nice and combined. We're gonna work over medium heat, maybe even medium low. The lower you go, the longer it's gonna take, but the less likely it is to burn. And don't worry guys, if you've never burned a roux, you probably haven't made that many. It's not that hard though, so you just wanna keep it moving. You don't wanna walk away from it. You definitely gotta babysit it a little bit. If you're feeling real scared, you can go on Google or YouTube and look up the oven method for a roux, which takes a whole lot longer, but it's almost impossible to burn it. So once you have your flour and your oil combined, like you see right here, there's no lumps. You just wanna stir it every 15 seconds or so. And the more confidence you get, the higher you can increase the heat. But we're looking for a nice dark chocolate roux for gumbo. So as you can see, we're working over medium heat here. You just wanna keep the roux moving, that way it doesn't burn. Using a high smoke point oil like avocado oil is perfect for this. You don't wanna use anything like olive oil. It'll make it easier to burn the roux. But you got about 20 minutes or so of stirring depending on the heat that you're working over. Right now, this is about medium. We'll probably bump it to medium high here in a minute. All right, so as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit of color on our roux. I wanna say it's like a coffee that's got too much cream in it. That's kind of where we're at here. The next step will be peanut butter and caramel, and then we'll get to milk chocolate, And you see a nice dark chocolate roux, that's when you know you're where you want to be for the gumbo. All right, my friends, we've reached peanut butter status. Just want to keep on stirring. I got my heat up a little high because I've done this a time or two. This is the hardest part about making gumbo, and if we're being honest, it's not that hard. You just got to have a little patience, and the more times you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. Now at this point, guys, we've reached milk chocolate status. We're just going to take it a little bit further. For those of you that don't want to go dark roux, you can stop right here and be perfectly fine. All right, guys, so we're just about where we want to be. Nice dark chocolate. Probably got another minute or two before we get there. Then we're going to add in our Cajun Trinity and allow that to saute for a bit. Be very careful when you add the veggies to this hot roux, guys. You don't want any splatter. If this gets on you, you're probably going to end up in the emergency room because it's super hot. So be very, very careful when you add the veggies to this roux. I like to turn the heat off when I add the veggies. So once you get the color you're looking for, kill the heat, add the veggies carefully, saute them for a few minutes. It'll be time to make some gumbo. All right, guys, I went ahead and killed the heat. Now I'm going to carefully spoon in our veggies. That's exactly what you want to see right there. The roux gets even a little bit more darker. The heat is off, guys, so you can see how hot that roux was. That's why you want to turn the heat off when you add the veggies. They don't take long at all to cook. And now we're going in with 2 quarts of chicken stock. At this point, I like to break the whisk back out. We're going to turn the heat back on to medium, bring this up to a simmer. All right, guys, so as you can see, we went ahead and added in the 2 quarts of chicken broth. Got a beautiful color going right here. Looking to bring this up to a simmer so that roux really works itself into the chicken broth and becomes one. At that point, we're gonna go ahead and let this simmer for about 30 minutes or so. I also like to go ahead and add in my fresh herbs at this point. So we're gonna add in the thyme and the bay leaves and just give that time to really work its flavor into the gumbo as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cover this with a lid and let that roll for about 30 minutes. All right, so next up, in a separate skillet, I like to go ahead and brown my andouille sausage. I see some recipes just throw the andouille sausage right into the gumbo, and that's fine, but one of the most important things is developing flavor, and the easiest way to do that is with a little caramelization, get some color on that sausage. So we're gonna add our andouille sausage to 3 tablespoons of melted butter, because butter makes everything better. And we're gonna make sure we brown it nicely before we add it into the gumbo. Oh man, it's smelling good in here. All right, guys, so as you can see, we're developing some beautiful color on this andouille sausage. A lot of fond developing at the bottom of the skillet as well. We're gonna get that up and add all of that to the gumbo. No flavor left behind. So once you've got some nice color developed on that sausage, we're going in with 1 cup of frozen okra. And the next guest to arrive to the flavor party is a little better than bouillon. We got roasted garlic today. Nice heaping teaspoon of that. Just gonna mix that in, deglaze the skillet with some chicken broth, and add this right to our gumbo. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and add in the sausage and the okra right on in to the rest of the gumbo. All right, so next we're gonna go in with about a tablespoon of hot sauce, preferably Louisiana hot sauce, and a few dashes of worst word in the world sauce. About a teaspoon or so of that, maybe 2 teaspoons if you're feeling frisky. And then we're gonna season it up with the dynamic duo, a little original and hot AP. followed by some Tony's Creole seasoning. A little cayenne and smoked paprika. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add in the stewed tomatoes. Next up, we're gonna add 1 whole rotisserie chicken that we chopped up. Give that a good mix, allow that to simmer for about 15 minutes or so. Make sure you taste as you go and adjust the flavor to your preference as always. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste test. If we need to adjust the seasoning, we will. But as of right now, we can hit this with an early looking good. All right, my friends, we're in the home stretch. At this point, you wanna go ahead and fish out the bay leaves and the thyme sprigs. We're gonna add some gumbo filet powder. That's gonna help thicken it up, add a little bit of authentic flavor profile to the situation. So about a teaspoon or 2 of this. You can find that at most grocery stores right in the seasoning aisle. And just let that simmer for another 10 to 15 minutes. And be ready to plate this up. And this is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is to grab a spoon and dig in, my friends. But before we get that taste test, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, here's the moment of truth. Here goes nothing. But today we're gonna put a little spin on it and go with chicken. I'm gonna show you guys how to make this delicious chicken and andouille sausage gumbo.
You want to say chicken and sausage?
Chicken and sausage. Sausage and chicken. Then to describe it.
Yep.
This recipe. Should I say
What
this
you
one?
want to say?
What's up, guys? Welcome back. That didn't feel right. All right, one more time. Get into character.